Alrighty everyone, welcome back. It is now November 16th of 2022, and today is a very special day because we finally got to see Andor episode 11. That's really teasing things for what's about to happen in the grand finale of the first season that's going to lead to the second one. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars updates. Also, by the way guys, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support. It is greatly appreciated. Now, one thing about the new universe between George, John, and Dave is that what they are currently crafting together is exactly how they can find ways to essentially grab aspects from Star Wars Legends and mixing that all together with the current Disney canon, of course. Now, one thing about all of this that a lot of fans need to know is exactly what's been going on behind the scenes between John and Dave. Now, what they have been trying to do and utilize is really balancing out all of the Star Wars Legends and how it's going to work hand in hand with the already existing Star Wars canon. Now, getting over to the subject of Mark Hamill, alright, this is a guy that has been a lot more talkative throughout the year of 2022. He's been really kind of teasing things, hyping the fans up for his involvement in a series of new shows coming out for Disney Plus, and what John and Dave have in store for the character of Luke. However, there is one thing that Mark Hamill recently went over about his issues with Lucasfilm as a company, Kathleen Kennedy, and the handling of Luke Skywalker as a whole in the latest Star Wars film, The Rise of Skywalker. And he went over this grudge that he still has to this day with Lucasfilm. We're going to go into all the details about this, what Mark had to say, how he feels about all of that, and how there is a bit of a remedy on top of this. So let's dive right into it. Now, with many new Star Wars creators getting hired by Favreau and Filoni right now to handle the future of the franchise, creators John and Dave are beginning to develop a series of new shows that will be announced next year. However, it's noted that in a recent interview that Mark Hamill took part in recently after he was being questioned about his involvement in future Star Wars shows, Hamill went on to actually state the following to the fans on his frustration and problems with Lucasfilm. Mark Hamill stated the following: "Well, one thing that bothers me to this day, that quite frankly left me very angry with how Lucasfilm ended things, was never revealing my scenes that were deleted from episode 9 that came out in 2019. I think I may be one of the first people to say this, at least a part of the cast, but we actually had shot a lot of flashbacks for Luke, and if I remember correctly about one thing is that I made it through to the final cut. The one thing of myself and Leia, it was infuriating and demoralizing to try and keep on convincing Kathy and those creatives over at Lucasfilm to try at least releasing my work into the public to put this into, of course, the movie as well, that I spent so much time on with JJ. So let me pause here quick of what Hamill had to say. So he makes it clear that only one flashback scene was able to make it into The Rise of Skywalker, and as you all know, we all saw this. It's when Leia and Luke are training on Endor, and Leia senses the death of her son as a vision. And that's why she gives up the Jedi path. Now, in that flashback, alright, they ended up using archived footage of Mark Hamill. So Mark Hamill didn't really engage in that scene. What he did engage in was he was overseeing the scene, he was kind of directing JJ on how Luke would act in a moment like that, because at the time George wasn't on set. So basically none of the flashbacks showed up where Mark Hamill was physically playing Luke Skywalker. They didn't really use any de-aging technology scenes. They used archived footage for that flashback. So this is something that we talked about a couple of months ago, that there were a handful of flashback scenes for Luke, and it's one of the main reasons why Hamill was working on episode 9 for just about as long as Daisy Ridley was. There were a lot of flashback scenes in there, and the general idea originally was to really showcase, you know, the origin of Ben Solo, the rise and fall of Luke, as well as other aspects of his journey to becoming a Jedi Master and a whole lot more. there was going to be like this big back and forth between past and present time in episode 9. That was like the original idea, and that all got deleted and wiped out. So that's very sad, honestly, because Mark Hamill really had a great opportunity here. So he goes on to say this, and they just completely filtered out my requests for that. It really has kept this grudge between myself and some of those associated with Lucasfilm for that reason, and one thing I am thankful for, this is where the remedy comes into play, is how John and Dave are still in the process of salvaging my deleted scenes to use them in something special that they are putting together, so it's very likely that I am going to be able to see my own work soon. Lucasfilm wouldn't even let me see my own work. I never got to see the finished product of the scenes that I had worked on with JJ, and from what I hear, they were very powerful scenes and moments the way that they were edited. So I think that what Mark Hamill is alluding to here is something that we have been talking about here for a very long time, is how they are intending to release a 4-hour cut of The Rise of Skywalker. And that is what's happening as of right now. They plan on debuting it in holiday of 2024 on Disney+. It was supposed to be in 2023. It got delayed for unknown reasons, but it did. It's now coming for holiday of 2024 to really kind of give fans all of that extra footage. And they're going to find ways to make it all canon, which is good. So I think that's exactly what Mark Hamill is alluding to when he says that John and Dave are salvaging that footage, because they are also going to become a part of this new cut of episode 9. The other thing I do want to point out that's absurd is how Mark Hamill makes it known that even he was not able to see his own footage, his own work, his own scenes that he worked on. Lucasfilm refused to show Hamill that. I don't know what's up with that. I don't know what they're trying to hide. I don't know what they're trying to suppress. But it seems like they don't even want some of the actors to see their own work. This way they can't really go out and tell the public exactly specifically how great it really is in spirit. The only thing that Mark Hamill was able to say is that from what he has heard from the crew is that the scenes were very powerful and magical and really in line with Star Wars. And again, at the end of the day, when you have a title called The Rise of Skywalker, what pops into your mind? You think about Luke, you think about Anakin, right? It's the name, and it was a very poor title choice in my opinion. So, moving on to where we are today, Mark Hamill really has like something to look forward to with John and Dave, thankfully, but he still has this grudge. He's very angry with the fact that Lucasfilm suppressed his scenes, let alone not even letting him see his own work is absolutely ridiculous. And I do agree with that. I don't know why they go through such a thing like that. But that just goes to show you that Lucasfilm, in different scenarios, doesn't care about the fans at times, nor do they care about their own cast at points in time. It really isn't all that surprising. And I'm glad that John and Dave are taking over, and they're really propelling things in a better path. So overall, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you guys have to say about all this below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
Night to